Turan Han here, and welcome to the very first episode of my new Let's Play series, campaign series in Total War Attila as a Sassanid Empire. Finally. I'm gonna play this on Legendary because the initial challenge is easy. However, I actually tried a Legendary and I tried two Legendaries just to see how the first few turns were, and the first try was very interesting. I basically started trading and being almost an ally of the Eastern Roman Empire, and there was like nothing going on, but I was raking in the money. It was all good, but I didn't see like if I would break that treaty, then I would look bad, and my tributary states would look bad. But it was a very safe beginning. My second try was fighting the Eastern Romans, and it didn't go so well because I had only very weak tier 1 troops, and like Pyron Band, I didn't even have Armenian spears by then. So now in the third legendary, I think I'm gonna still attack Eastern Roman empires, but I'm gonna hang back. Let them even take some frontier places. I'm gonna wait until all my basically satrapies get to the western front. At the same time, I might wait at least the first 10 years. Well, not 10 years, but as much as I need for non-aggression pact, but do not trade with the Eastern Roman empires, with the Eastern Roman Empire or the Byzantine Empire, and only attack when I'm ready. I'm still torn about that, but anyways, I've had some feet wet into this campaign already, so I know what to expect now. And legendary is a lot tougher in the sense that I feel like the soldiers, enemy soldiers, even though they're supposed to be weak, they take a while to basically kill. They're much more sturdier, while my soldiers seem less effectual. Of course, I had Pyron Band, which is not at all good as compared to Armenian spears, and I was on defensive end. I was like defending my cities, and I'm terrible at defending cities. I'm much better at attacking, and I'm not so good with infantry armies. And but anyways, let's just give it another try, and this time whatever happens, I'm just gonna keep going. All right. First, let's discuss what do they have. They have a cultural trait of Grand School. Sanitation +1 for every province capital held. Basically, it rewards assassins to own all the capitals, and increases the sanitation, so you don't have to worry about disease almost entirely. Especially if you build a sanitation building in the city. I found in much to my detriment, too late, like 5 turns in, that city buildings built in the city or the capital province usually give better religious or sanitation, whatever bonuses whatever type it is, it gives better bonuses than in the town. So you would want to build something else in the town, like in the towns or the outlying, not like food buildings are fine to build there. So just what my game is my strategy is to build both the religious and sanitation building in the main province or the main city, not the town. Okay, the faction trait of King of Kings has income plus 200% tribute from puppet states. This is key. Basically, the more puppet states you have, the more money you get pouring in. You start with 8, and there's a tier 1 first like a bonus mission to get a 9th. A very good 9th possible candidate is Kartli. It's a Georgian faction in the Caucasus, or Himyar. Himyar was a pretty successful and actually rich and an emerging Arab power that actually conquered the Sabians. If there was a Saba, a faction of Saba back in Rome too, but by this time Himyar conquered this whole Aden region, and the lucrative spice trade flowing into the Red Sea or Arabic Sea and Indian Ocean, and Nobatia or Nabataeans are basically another Arab faction, and they are well, not a satrapy but a client state of the Eastern Roman Empire, the Byzantines. The other thing of King of Kings, puppet state levies +3 of each type of levy unit. Basically, if you're in your puppet state region or province, you're able to to get their units. So your roster is actually very diversified. Of course, for now, all your puppet states are eastern. But as you grow west and get for example, there could be an emergent Egypt here, or emergent Judea, or a Germanic faction. You can get other civilizational or factional other factional groups, like big ones like Germanic, Hellenic, if you make that into a satrapy state. So really, by so doing, they have one of the widest selection of units possibly to recruit. Of course, I'm gonna go a bit of a different army type, and I'm gonna talk more about it in depth. Basically, I'm gonna go for a mostly Persian mounted bowmen, because their upkeep is only 200, and mostly like eight Salvaran cataphracts or Grif Panar cataphracts, and the rest mounted bowmen. So basically, I'll be having almost the same, very Parthian-like army. I will have for my sieging armies Sassanid onagers. I learned by looking at the tech tree the Sassanids get an onager even larger than the large onagers, so that'll be fun to see. And they have like tech tree bonuses for ammunition for the onagers. So if I have like 2 onagers and the rest like a sieging army of infantry, like Kurdish archers and first Persian bowmen, then Kurdish archers, then elite Persian bowmen, and with a line of 6 to 8 Armenian spears, and then later Dailamites, maybe Sogdian warriors. Then it's a pretty good supportive army for the main attacking army. And ultimately, once I'll grow large enough, I would like to have like 8 cataphracts, and the rest Jayadan cavalry. They're basically missile cavalry, but they have spears, and they're pretty good in melee. Of course, they cost a lot, but by that time, it's very possible to have a lot of income and basically rolling in mostly elite armies. So, okay, without further ado, let's get into it. Once we'll be at the campaign screen, I'll talk not a little, but some about history, more interactions with Sassanids with the nomads. And it wasn't just the Huns, there were Dailamites, Gilaks, who am I? Dailamites are like the Mazandarites, Kurds, who were also nomadic at this time, and they were north of Persia, basically in this southern Caspian region. And I'll talk about that. Also, I'll talk about the main 2 religions that are having a role in this time of history in the Sassanid Empire. Of course, Zoroastrianism and Manichaeism. I knew about Zoroastrianism, but I known less about Manichaeism, and I'll just tell a couple big differences between them, just to show what they are and get behind the motivations of people and this time, sort of get into that role play mindset. All right, so without further ado, let's begin. One thing which I will tell right here briefly is that the period that Total War Attila starts is 395 AD. It's actually right in the period between 2 golden eras of the Sassanids. So Sassanids already had their first golden era from 309 to 379. So basically, for 70 years, they already had a strong and prosperous golden era, where Shapur the First, along with the nomad king Grambatis of Chionites, basically another name for Huns, they were allied against the Romans, and they started the second campaign in 359, and they gained Amida and Nisibis. That's why you start with Nisibis, that one province. I'll show one region in the province of Osroene, and that shows, yeah.
The air was filled with smoke and blood. What the Romans stole, the East reclaimed with vengeance. As Emperor Valerian discovered when his love of wealth was rewarded with molten gold. Rome was the city of lies. They insulted the desert, but never conquered eastern lands, for they were weak and divided. Their arrogance was punished. And behold, a red horse, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. The men of the East forged their spears in the fires of truth, and purged the world of darkness. It was their duty. They made ready for war. Your dominion over the East is strong. Ardashia's great legacy is at last secure. Now, you must look to expand the empire westward. Rome is divided and surrounded by enemies. There may never be a better time to reassert the natural order of Persian rule throughout Asia Minor and the Levant. Support for the Eastern Roman Empire and its religion is strong, so a steady approach may be wiser than a brute offensive. Keep eyes on the north, for the inexorable Huns and their allies are on the move, thirsty for plunder and the blood of civilized men. Ultimately, you must bring just and wise rule to the world, laying the foundations of a Sassanid empire that will last until the end of time.
Epic! We shall send civilization and colonize everything. The steppes, the wastes, everything. Everywhere will be sanitation, baths, and the fruits of this wondrous and ancient civilization. Yes. So we're gonna go humanism to the core, very anti-eco, like we were with the Huns. Anyways, the point I was making, in that even in the first golden era of the Sassanids, how they were able to get Nisibis, this region, is of course with Shapur's tight administration, but also through the help of the Huns, who probably came from the Caucasus or from the Balkans to pressure the Eastern or Roman Empire. So that's one example where the interaction between the Sassanid Empire and the Huns was not antagonistic. Another is coming up next. I'll describe. So right now, this is a time in 395 AD. This is a time in between Sassanids' two golden eras. Sassanids' second golden era starts at 498, and I'm gonna briefly talk about what led to the second golden era. So really, here they show Bahram as king, when really at this time, as far as I know, it should be Yazdegerd the First, and not Bahram as king. So I don't quite get that. But anyways, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But it seems on my collection that he ruled from 399 to 421, and it's 395 now. So and it does show here that he's out of favor. Bahram. Really, I think it should be Yazdegerd. Anyways, well, Yazdegerd's successor was Bahram V. Maybe this is Bahram V. He was very well known and had many myths about him. And at this time, actually, in the sort of interregnum, it was sort of interbellum period. They were not fighting Eastern Romans at this time. Actually, if we can see, Eastern Romans, we have a non-aggression pact. It lasts, I think, 10 turns. Or 10 years. Of course, we could break that, but we are not at war right now at this current time, and that is historically correct. And what happened in this interbellum period, against, at least against the Byzantine Empire, is that uh, Bahram V and Yazdegerd II, they defended against. At this time, they were starting to become more antagonistic relationship with more of a Bactrian and Sogdian uh, uh, backed basically WhiteHuns or Hephthalites in 5th century. So it's around 480. So they actually, Bahram V and Yazdegerd were very successful against the Central Asian on nomads. But Peroz I was not. He actually died fighting in 484 or 43. And then there was a brief but important time of instability, just that led to the second golden era of the Sassanids. So with Peroz I dead, Persian noble Zarmihr, he from a very venerable old family called Karen, restored Balash, Peroz's brother, to the throne. And Balash, he didn't take any action against the Uars or the WhiteHuns. He just tributed them away. And his nephew Kavad I was actually very keen and very smart, and he supported the Mazdakites. I think those are the Mazandarites. I might be wrong, but basically he didn't support the Magi or the Zoroastrian clergy, and that actually hurt him because he was very quickly deposed and imprisoned in Susa in an iron fortress here. However, and his brother Jamasp, his younger brother of Kavad was put in office or in the as emperor king of kings Shahanshah in 496 AD. But what happened then is that yeah, just 2 years after Kavad, in that intervening time, Kavad actually escaped, and he escaped far to the east and obtained White Han or Uvar Avar support, and with a huge White Han army came back to the capital Ctesiphon and basically reinstalled himself as a rightful emperor of Sassanid Persia or Sassanid Empire. And while not killing Jamasp, his younger brother, actually Jamasp was very well treated and still remained at the court, but it was basically a struggle against the nobles where ultimately Kavad I was able to put the nobles and the clergy down enough to have centralized authority and reestablish and begin the second golden era of the Sassanids. But one thing which I'd like to note is it happened with the help of the WhiteHuns or Uars, with the White Han king support. Of course, there was tribute, and only until Khosrau started fighting the WhiteHuns back when they were weaker did they get rid of the tribute. But still, it was not always an antagonistic relationship. Another thing, which was even more surprising, the nature of Ctesiphon itself. Ctesiphon rose to prominence as a city during Parthian Empire because the Parthians settled it in 1st century BC. And so for 400 years, it was already a big thriving city, and it was located near Seleucia, the old Hellenistic capital. Like in Rome too, have you seen there's Seleucia? There's no Ctesiphon. And Strabo described the location as so. He said, in ancient times, Babylon was the metropolis of Assyria, but now Seleucia is a metropolis. I mean the Seleucia on the Tigris, as it is called. Nearby is situated a village called Ctesiphon, a large village. This village the kings of the Parthians were wont to make their winter residence, thus sparing the Seleucians, in order that the Seleucians, or the Greeks and the Hellenic and later Roman peoples, might not be oppressed by having Scythian folk and soldiery quartered among them. Scythian because Parthians at that time, even though they were quickly assimilating into the Parthavan and Persian culture and language, they were still very much by mode of lifestyle nomadic, and they were probably recruiting a lot of Scythians from from Central Asia, and Parthians themselves came from the Dahe people. But by this time, by 395 or 400 AD, it's Dahistan. Stan is in Persian land of, so land of the Dahe. And like now in modern times, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan is land of those people. And actually, what's interesting is that in Russian language, they borrow from the Iranian Stanishe means a land or congregation of some people, and the Russian word Stanishe is directly from this Iranian word stan, and so that's where so even like if you go farther back in time, you keep seeing nomadic influence. Of course, they were by this time very intermarried. Actually, another nomadic influence is that Manichaeism, the religion, was their prophet Mani was from a prominent Arzachid. Arzachid, that's the dynasty of the Parthians. Parthian, his mother was a noted Parthian. Of course, he belonged to a Judeo-Christian ecclesia. I pronounced that wrong. A sect, but basically the prophet of Manichaeism was a Arsacid Parthian Persian. His mother was Parthian. Parthian. So now it's a good segue, I think, to talk about the religion of this region of the Sassanid Empire at this time. At this time, of course, Zoroastrianism and Machinaeism were the strongest, and but as we can see, Zoroastrianism is actually falling in all the regions. Manichaeism is really picking up steam. It's also in Spahan. It's the same story. So what does it tell in terms of gameplay? I need to, if I want to continue Zoroastrianism, I need to build temples in the capitals, Stahar, Spahan, and Ctesiphon. So first, I'll briefly talk about what are the main differences between the two religions. Why were they antagonistic? In a way, well, actually, they were more antagonistic than. Anyways, so Manichaeism equated all material things with evil, and all spiritual things or ascetic things, mysticism was good. In that sense, I sort of see Manichaeism as very Sufi-like compared to Islam, to mainstream Islam. While Zoroastrianism or Mazdaism rejects every form of asceticism, and so that's already one point of confrontation. It could be compared like Christianity is to Judaism, is Manichaeism to Zoroastrianism. Sort of a parental link, but not quite, because Manichaeism doesn't go from Zoroastrianism. From Zoroaster, it comes more still from the Judeo-Christian Abrahamic tradition. Another difference is that Manichaeism, because it says that materialism, anything corporal bodies, the celestial world, how it's created, is evil, then it's from Satan. While Zoroastrianism is very opposite. It says the world as God or Creator has created it is good, inherently good, and any corruption is effort of the bad, of Satan. So it could be sort of compared to like Manichaeism is more like Christian original sin, and Zoroastrianism is more like a Muslim no original sin. But basically, these are the main big differences. And at one point, actually, Manichaeism rivaled Christianity for power, especially in the Church of the East. Another interesting thing, even though Manichaeism largely was not removed, but really combated in both Persia and later in both Sassanid Empire and East and Byzantine Empire, where Manichaeism really flourished was in the Uyghur Khaganate over here in the East. Uyghurs actually had Manicus clergy and so on. So uh, so that's where it sort of survived until it went to China, and even then in China, emperors started going against it, against both Buddhism and Manichaeism. So it's a very interesting, deep history that I've only like very briefly went into, but basically. Uh, I wanted to show why, what are the main differences, so then it gives the motivations for these people. Um, so of course, one strategy, just for what if scenario, you could destroy all the Zoroastrian or Mazdaist temples and wait until Manichaeism gets to 35%. But I don't know what faction trait it gives. For example, Zoroastrian gives more growth. So it's just another like a what if scenario. Me, since it's already Zoroastrian's 70%, I'm gonna try to keep it more or less similar and similar to history. And I'm gonna try to raise Zoroastrianism and keep Manichaeism down. But I could definitely see in an alternate playthrough try to actually help Manichaeism go up. And convert to it. So, all right, I think I've described. Yeah, I've described the historic connections to the nomads, the original first century designation Ctesiphon as a big, just a village, not even a city, settled by Parthians and other Scythians to be separate from Seleucians. I described the differences between the religions. I described the two golden eras of the Sassanids, and from now we can transition more fully into a strategy. All right, so let's talk strategy. First of all, here we have Fire Altar. I want to recruit just both of these guys right off the bat. So then they're already trying to change the religion back to back to back to Zoroastrianism. Yeah, let's do that again. Can I do it in Spahan actually? No, I don't think I can. Yeah, I'll just send him. So there you go. And I have two. One will be here, one will be there, and they should start helping turn the tide of Manichaeism. All right. Now, in terms of buildings, first food. Wheat fields provide the most food per if you have a high local fertility level. And if we can see in the local fertility, Asoristan and Ostroin, also Egyptus, because I from my past hunting campaign, they're now rich. The base fertility is 5, so 5 times 18, whatever that will be. It will give more food, and it will only by phase 3 of the clinical of the too much work of the climate change will it reach like poor or I think average. I think the worst it will get is to poor. Everything else will be like infertile. So for the longest time, having wealth, having wheat fields will be better than having the other one is camel herd. They give the most upfront food. If we look here, camel herd wheat fields give basically 170 plus 40, that's 210, while camel range gives 130 upfront without any fertility thing. So camel ranges are perfect for regions where they don't have as good fertility, or when by the climate phase 3, when even previously rich became poor, then I'll probably change to just camel range. But for a long time, wheat will give more food based on the local fertility level because it's going to stay a while. And because Egypt has a rich thing, my whole strategy, why I want to fight as early as possible Eastern Roman Empire, is to deny this rich province to them and completely own it myself for Sassanid Empire. There's a little trick here. If even though I have here, where's this regional wealth? No, public order, attitude, diplomatic. There's a lot of allies around and Africa's allies. The rest are satrapies. I don't want satrapies to get any part of Egypt or other regions, provinces that I want to, because I want to have the whole province. So that's why I kind of sort of have to play a fast game and not allow the satrapies to take too much land for themselves. Because especially Egyptus, which I want, are rich. The only other agriculturally rich, I think, is Italia, Narbonensis, Liguria, and Africa. I think that's it. I don't think most of Anatolia is rich for a long time. Another interesting thing about Asoristan. Asor is actually Assyria. Assyria is actually more northwest where Atharian is. So it's a little bit of a misnomer, but again, Stan means land of the Assyrians. Because before it was Babylonian Empire, but then Assyrians conquered them, and then basically made it their own. And then of course after that there was Achaemenid Empire, and then Alexander's Empire, the Seleucid Empire. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting how this area is called still Assyria, where Assyria is more known to be right in this area versus like that area. Okay. So I think I talked about the food. So he'll be wheat fields. So I'm gonna have another wheat field. Here I'm gonna have both camel herd. He already has a camel herd here. Camel herd. Where is it? There you go. I need another food here, but because they have a fishing jetty here, it's sort of okay food for now. In terms of research, I do want nobility stage earlier, but it depends on my politics. If I don't want to fight the Eastern Roman empires too early, I'm gonna go for this first, and then go for Armenian spears and then Sabaran cataphracts. I want to get this Persian military legacy as fast as possible, though, because the Azadan barracks here, it can recruit Persian mounted bowmen, which cost only 200 upkeep. They don't have Parthian shot. That's the only bad thing. But they do have precision, which actually I don't think normal Hunnic mounted bows have precision. Yeah, I don't think they do. Unless my memory serves me wrong. And of course they and already I can with this building get cataphracts. So with this one building I can get both cataphracts and bowmen. So I can start retraining my armies that way. And in terms of infantry, Stachar Persis is kind of far to recruit. I want to actually on first turn destroy this training ground, because I don't really need infantry units this far back. What I would want to happen is Osroene become my infantry, build an infantry barracks there, and recruit Kurdish, like Kurdish archers there. First Persian bowmen, then spearmen, and siege engines, or siege engines from here. But basically, I want to make Osroene my infantry production army, not Persis. Persis is just a bit too far. Spahan is closer, but Persis is all right. So now Atropatene is unreliable. That's not good. In my other thing, Atropatene was pretty reliable. So see, when they're red like that, or even Armenia is red like this and deteriorating, this is also hostile. If I'm gonna like do Eastern Roman Empire fight them now, there's high likelihood that Armenia, especially, see they're green towards Eastern Roman Empire, they might just revolt against me, and I lost satrapy, and I have to fight another thing. So now with basically with at least two of these satrapies, which have 3 regions, so they're pretty sizable, I'm thinking to not have an early war with the Eastern Roman empires. I need to deal with my religious situation first, with my public order situation, upgrading my armies, and then I can push out. I'm not ready to push out actually. If Atropatene was green, and then I could have done it. Another thing which I will do is actually put my armies, well, 2 armies here in case they attack, and these 2 armies I'm gonna put actually in Atropatene. Actually, found out that having your armies just stationed in their cities makes them much more liable to your diplomacy. Okay, so I think I've done all I could in terms of buildings. Actually, I could delete. I'll not delete. Yeah, I don't need a levy camp here. I don't need a sacred site here. I'm gonna. I don't need a workshop here. I'm gonna actually make that into a religious building. This is fine here. I will upgrade it eventually, but not now. What I'm gonna put here is these noble estates. With 2 noble estates here, this is up to courthouse, and this religious. I'm not gonna have public order issues or religious issues. And with the 7th building, I'm gonna build a sanitation, and this Spahan province will be pretty much set to go. Of course, I'll need some time to get that sorted because right now it's losing public order. Here, I'm gonna get rid of that, put a religious building here to stop this manichaeism rise. Get this up to this. I need another camel herd. I'm not gonna build it now, not off the bat. Here, for now, it's fine. What I need to do is put governors, or basically politics. Okay, so Bahram and Yazdigerd. Yazdigerd, he dislikes war. Basically, his army has less integrity and public order for every concurrent war with a neighboring faction. So really, don't want him on the front lines. I think I'm gonna send both of them just to keep an eye out on Atropatene, which is close to revolting, and maybe Armenia, while having 2 armies up here in Nisibis, basically stopping any possible advance from the west by the Byzantines. Go back to here. Khosrau, he's untrustworthy, but he's pretty good. Shapur needs a wife, and he's humble, and he has rally, he's good. But one of my tributary states, usually Mazun, for some reason, has daughters, good daughters who will help. I'm still not sure about what to do with anyways, let's see. Mazun is green. Last time they were negative.
Please accept as a most humble audience for your terms, my
wow.
Now, speak.
They're all not so good. And even what happened? It's like, all right, let's try to find a wife.
You honor this.
Okay, Abarshakhr. Oh, Abarshakhr is a ancient word for Khorasan.
And take wine to cool.
Or Arya?
I will do you the honor
come
of
on.
listening to your terms.
Parthia? Parthia?
Please be seated.
Oh, that's not good. Okay. Africans?
Please be seated.
They don't have anybody. Oops. Atropatene?
Be welcome.
They don't have anybody to Armenia?
Do not try my patience with a dull tongue.
Oh, efficient. Worth it. If I can make Armenia have a political marriage with them, that's gonna be really great, actually. The only problem is they're probably not gonna go at this point for it, no matter how much I give them. Yeah, not worth it. Just keep an eye that Armenia has a good potential daughter.
I will do you the honor of listening to your terms, hoping to hear wisdom.
Kartli. Can we even trade with Kartli? Well. Okay, let's do. Okay, I'm gonna put. Can he go? No, they can't. I'm gonna put Yazdigert as a Castellan. And for regions, I'm gonna put Azoristan and Spahan and Persis. Ostroyan is not really worth it. Okay, Khosrau has champion rider, relentless attacker, anything administrator tax rate. Spahan makes the most money. Let me just check that again. Wait, yeah, 2,000. Okay, so I'm gonna put the administrator there to make some a little bit more money. So that was Shapurt, right? Yeah, I'm gonna put him in Spahan. Awesome. And the other two in Azoristan and Persis. Let them start getting. So that got some money less from me. Should I build a religious building here for sure? But another food. It's not. They're doing 26. Yeah, they could use another food, I think. I don't think you can build another food in the same area, so I'm gonna build it here. At the same time, here I wanted to build not a community center, but yeah. It's good thing is like unlike nomads, you only need time and money to build stuff here, not population surplus. You only need population surplus to develop new lands. I'm gonna build another food here, just so then they're good to go for food. They're fine here. I'm gonna build more stuff. Fine here. Should I go for Armenian spears or should I go for centralized authority? I'm gonna go for this, then I'm gonna go for military, because I really need to set up. While these guys, I'm gonna send to basically on the border. To basically you. No, don't declare war. Just be right outside their city, in their land, just saying, calm down. Okay, that might be bad, but this will be dealt with relatively soon, especially when I build this. All right, fine. The only region is bad. This one's okay actually, even with no armies. I might move one of the Maguses here, Azarmahan, and Bares Manas. Manas, actually Manas is still a pretty popular Kazakh name to this day. I had a friend called Manas and a Kazakh teacher named Manap. So really, the cultural interfusion is crazy. All right, I think I did everything I could for this turn. Yeah, I've put province managers. I've done research. Oh, objectives. I forgot to talk about objectives. Basically, you only need 10 puppet states or satrapies for minor victory. 10 puppet states for where are they? For economic. That's very doable. 16 is becoming sort of undoable. Right now we have 8. Basically, we need to increase by twice more puppet states. The crazy one is Divine Triumph, which is, where is it? 20 puppet states. I'm not doing that. The most I'll go is military victory. Definitely cultural and minor. Okay, what I'll consider as a victory is basically destruction of Byzantines. If Western Roman Empire is still alive, going until Rome and conquering Rome in Italy, that's it. I'll be already satisfied if Constantinople is taken. But my first order of business is not even Constantinople, it's Egypt. If I get Egypt, it's pretty easy rolling from there. All right, I will. What am I missing? I feel like I'm missing something. Well, I didn't do anything with on my earlier turns with Mazun. I was able to get
The pleasures of my household are yours, twin.
basically, I was able to get a marriage for only 700 very early on for Shapur, one of Bahram's, not Bahram's, Yazdigerd's sons.
Before you say anything,
But
know
yeah,
that I
this is
have an
efficiency is really
antidote
good. Basically,
against the evil eye.
personal influence
That
plus 2 per
sorcery
turn and
will
having
gain you
both cunning
naught.
and authority is really good. It's just, they need some time. I'm gonna try, but it's not gonna work. Yeah. What will really help is this trade. Are we trading with them? Yeah. Which Armenia? We're not trading with Armenia. See, trade really helps with over time. They're gonna like you more. I could try reliable and loyal. Sassanids. I think Sassanids were Khadarites, or Lakhmids were previously Khadarites. Because if I start trading with Eastern Roman Empire, it's sort of it's down a not a good road in terms of like then it'll be if I have to break it and my trustworthiness falls, then all these satrapies will not like me as much. Armenia actually and Lazica they were fought over a lot and exchanged hands between Byzantines and Sassanids very frequently. Was Kartli I could do some
I greet you as
overtures.
befits your reputation. Now,
Oh,
friend,
she has an
speak
ambition.
plainly,
Plus
so that
3!
we may fall to haggling.
It does have a loyalty, but plus 3 per turn, that's really good. Oh, let's see. They're smaller, so they might actually go for it. For who? For Shapur? But then I don't have a really... I need a marriage with the 3 region full province Armenia more than I do with Kartli. But let's try it. What will they think? Moderate. Non-aggression
My
pact?
lord and his chamberlains see much advantage in a treaty. What do you say?
Yeah, it's a very good... what's the word? It's a very good candidate for a another puppet state. So let's do that. And they might actually even do Nidintu. Well, let's try again. How do they not like it when it's like moderate? It should be like 50-50. All right. I need Armenia under still red. Oddly enough. All right. I'm going to and turn in the next episode. Already it's almost like 50 minutes. But basically I've made most of my turns, most of the big strategy things. Oh, I forgot to talk about Gilaks here and Mazandarites, Mazandaran, and basically Dailamites and Kurds here. They basically were in this region. And they were all nomadic tribes basically north of Persia, and they were they were mercenaries for both the Sassanids and the Byzantines, more for Sassanids of course. And what's interesting is that if you go like for example if you go convert to training grounds, you get Dailamite warriors, basically Mazandarite warriors. And, well, there's Naft throwers. Naft throwers are actually pretty good. I don't think they were there so early, but Naft is basically oil. And actually, the Russian word for Naft is Neft. And of course, where they got it from Iranian Arabic languages. There's Immortals, Royal Persian archers. Pretty good. But so they were used by both, and also this area is also called Hyrkania. What's interesting is in Robert E. Howard's Hyborian Age, he called the Hyrkanians basically nomads, and and there was an empire of Turan, which had its emperor Yazdigerd, really very modeled after like Sassanids, more than even Ottomans or even the Mongol Empire. But their armies were like very Hyrkanian, Turanian in the sense of heavy cavalry, cataphracts, horse archers. And what's interesting, Cimmeria, like Conan the Barbarian came from Cimmeria, which is modeled after the Hellenistic Crimean Peninsular Bosporan state, which I'll actually play in the concurrent campaign as the Alans, and it's just very interesting to see that in fiction, because I've played Age of Conan, so it really takes from precisely this period of history. So if you know like Rome 2 or like this antique history, then you understand all the things that Robert E. Howard is talking about in his fiction. So really, his fiction is not really that original. He just dug farther deeper in history than most people did. Similarly, with what's his name? With Frank Herbert, Dune. People say he's so innovative. I love him. I love Frank Herbert, but he's not very innovative. He only popularized Eastern Iranian, Arabic, Central Asian folk tales and gave it to a Western audience who was not prepared for that at that time. Put it in a scientific wrapper, and that's it. Really, like Shai-Hulud, Shaitan, all those things are terms and terminologies from precisely this period of history and later Muslim periods of history. So no idea is original, but you have to still give credit, I think, to both Howard and Herbert for putting it into a cool scientific or like a pseudo-fictional or rap. But at the same time, give credit where it's due to the actual cultures that spawned those ideas. All right, enough of my rambling. I'm just really excited for the Sassanid campaign. I think I've set up a good beginning. Before, I only had one army here, so like 3 Eastern Roman armies descended on me, with 2 armies here, both supporting each other. They shouldn't attack, and I'm not gonna actually break the non-aggression pact. I'm only gonna break the non-aggression pact in basically, I can tell you how many turns. 2 turns, another 2 turns, that's 4, 5 turns, because I'll get this. It'll take me 3 turns to upgrade this. In 8 turns, I can start to create the army I want. The Parthian army, Parthian model army of cataphracts and mounted Persian bowmen, and basically using the same steppe warfare tactics against the Romans, because it just works so well against the Romans. And against the Huns, I'm already preparing the same steppe warfare tactics while having a siege army of Armenian spears, Persian bowmen, and catapults. And another thing which I'm really looking forward to is, where is it? Sassanid Large Onager. Oh, that'll be awesome. Replaces Large Onager. And it increases its ammunition. Yeah, that'll be pretty fun to get there. Alright, so in the next episode, I'm going to end turn and move on. Alright, see you in episode 2 of the Sassanid Empire. I'm just going to call it Sassanids campaign. Turan Han out.